Well, I'm doing a project on family history, and I chose Mommy's side to ask a couple questions about our family history. So I'm going to be asking you a couple questions about your journey here to Canada. So let's get started. What is your full name?
My full name is first name Zihai, middle name Okbalitet, and last name Iman.
Okay, and where exactly did you live before you came here to Canada?
Before I came to Canada, I was living in Eritrea, East Africa, which is my country, in the town of Keren, and then deciding to come to Canada, I moved to next country, which is Sudan, and I stayed in Sudan for almost 8 months because my family went ahead of me to Canada about a year ago at that time.
And who made up of your traveling party? Was it one person, family, or extended family?
As I said, like my family didn't stay at that next country in Sudan. They already moved to Canada, so I joined them after 1 year by myself only.
So your traveling party was just you.
Yes, it's only me.
And what reason did you have for immigrating to Canada, and what year did you immigrate here?
The reason why I immigrated to Canada is from back home there was political situations which was unstable to live there due to the political situations. There was no peace, and as everybody at that time, which was 1984, was moving to the next country for immigration to the other European and North American countries. So that was the main reason of the instability back in my country to move to Canada.
And what kind of job did you have in your home country before you moved?
Before I moved, I was working in my country at an American base, working there with the Americans, and being there, we decided, the two American friends I had, to open an orphanage school in my hometown, and started establishing that orphanage school for kids without mother and father, and give them the quality of life and education. And I was working there for the longer times when I was at home.
And that was just an elementary school?
Yeah, it was basically elementary school for those kids, and then when they reached the high school level, they were going to the government high school, but still they were boarding students at that orphanage school.
Did you get the same kind of job in Canada?
When I came to Canada in 1985 to join my family, I didn't get the same job because at that time when I arrived in Canada in 1985, there was not enough jobs. That's why we moved from Canada from Vancouver to Toronto, Ontario, and I didn't get the same job.
Have you been back home to Eritrea before you left?
Since I came to Canada, I never been back home, but my family, they went back home, some of them twice and some of them once, but myself, I never been back home yet.
Did you settle in the first location when you arrived in Canada, or did you keep on moving in different places?
As I arrived to join my family in 1985, landed in Vancouver, BC, that's where they were. And when, upon my arrival, we stayed about 8 months and moved to Toronto, Ontario from Vancouver, British Columbia. And then I settled and got a job in Toronto, Ontario, and that's where I am up to now.
Did anyone, friends or family, help you get settled into your new life here in Canada when you arrived?
Yes, there were family members. One was my brother-in-law, brother to my wife, and there are cousins of my wife who were ahead in Canada before me, and they helped me to settle in both in British Columbia, Vancouver, British Columbia, and when we moved to Toronto, Ontario too.
That's good. You had a lot of people to help you settle in. Did you experience any kind of racism or bigotry when you arrived? If so, what was that like?
As I was understanding the English language very well, I didn't have any problem with communication with another ethnic groups, and I didn't experience any bigotry or racism at that time.
For your final question is, how did your journey go? Was it rough, or did you feel it was a good trip?
I wouldn't say it rough, because the mind at that time was to settle in a peaceful country and make the living with the family, and I was eager to find a job and start a new life with hope.
Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate your input on the assignment, and that's it for our interview.
You are welcome, Gelila, and I would be very glad to do on your next project with Edgar Whelan, and I hope at that time or the next interview you will do with me, you will have a lot of questions and key, and I enjoyed the interview, and you are welcome.